So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plant, but we have the power.
This episode of The Simpsons and this scene in particular always was one of my favorites. And it always struck me in an emotional way because it seemed true to me. But it's not. We always think of the government or the they or the man or whoever you want to call it as having the plans and calculating everything, and we're just useless pawns or cogs in a system or cogs in a machine. But that's not the case. I mean, I don't believe for a second that there's some master plan, and I don't believe for a second that the people in power aren't anything but opportunists. But as long as we believe we're powerless, and as long as we believe our only recourse is running through the streets and screaming at the top of our lungs, that's what we're going to do. Instead of doing that, we, the people, I didn't even say that intentionally, we, the people, should have a plan. And the plan is simple. They need us. We don't need them. We are the means of production, and this is not going to be a communist rant. I am not a socialist. I'm a conservative, somewhere towards the right, not quite libertarian. The plan is to vote, but not in November. The plan is to vote every day, with every purchase you make. Vote with your wallet. We know what these companies stand for. They say it in their ads, in their press releases. They say it in the entertainment we watch. They say it by who they sponsor and who they're scared to sponsor. They use their money and their influence to push their ideologies, their agendas, their narrative, their politics. And we simply don't have to accept it. Everybody knows that Nike targets poor black communities to buy overpriced shoes produced by labor exploited from poor people in third world countries. Just because they hired Colin Kaepernick, a guy who was adopted by white people and grew up in affluent suburbs, to tell everyone how racist America is, does not absolve them of that. Everyone's out here now predicting civil war because of all of the unrest, and that's asinine, honestly, but also not, because I don't predict a civil war. We are in the midst of a civil war. Only this war isn't being fought with guns. This is a war of ideas. This is a war of ideals. And the ideals of Western civilization, the ideals of the United States of America are under attack. And we're standing idly by and watching as our civil liberties are being slowly stripped away, one by one. We sit by and watch as they cry for the defunding of the police, as at the same time they try to strip our rights to guns away. It's obvious to me that that's just a ploy to have us dependent on the government. Like if you take the guns from the people, then we're dependent on others for our protection. And then they take the police away, then what's there? Then it's chaos, and then we're desperate for help, and then they have total control. But that's, I don't know, verging on conspiracy theory. I mean, if you have eyes in your head to see, it's obvious. But I'll try to steer clear from that. I want to stick to the plan of the people. That's something that we can do. I just posted a tweet earlier today that New Balance produces 70% of their product in the United States. They have factories in Maine and Massachusetts. And I've been buying New Balance off and on for years, and exclusively since that Colin Kaepernick ad from Nike. But I just learned today that they are mostly an American company, and well, they are an American company, but they produce most of their products in America. So I was like, well, yes, I'm going to continue to purchase from them because they represent what I believe in. Getting less, well, in the same vein, I mean, take Star Wars, for example. I mean, I'm a geek channel, and anybody watching this probably is a geek too. I didn't like The Last Jedi. I thought it was a horrible abortion of a movie. So guess what? I did not go see The Rise of Skywalker. I didn't go see Solo, even though Solo might have come out first. I'm not sure, but I wasn't interested in Solo, so I didn't spend my money on it. Solo tanked, and what was Disney's reaction to Solo tanking? They closed up shop and stopped producing new Star Wars movies. It's not worth the investment if they can't make a profit. We voted with our wallets against Solo, and Star Wars said, wait a minute, let's take a step back. This isn't going to fly. We have to regroup and try to make something that's going to make money. And I mean, how simple is that? It's weird that now the Hollywood elites are getting more entrenched because it's an ideological battle. To them, they think they're right, and they think that disagreement is evil. And it's not that people have different opinions. It's that they're right, we're wrong, they're the good guys, and we're the bad guys. So they're gonna beat us over the head with these horrible message movies and these horrible narratives until we until we submit. We can't submit. We can't support things that we disagree with. We can't support companies who just horrible these horrible. I mean, I hate using just like these catchphrases and these throwaway words like virtue signaling, but that's what they're doing. You take what is it, Quaker Oats? Oh well, and this is the whole thing. I had another tweet about this. If I can find it, I would link it in the description. But Quaker Oats took said, "Hey, you can't look at black women anymore because that's racist. Looking at pictures of black people is racist now. So Aunt Jemima can't be on the Aunt Jemima syrup." And of course, Aunt Jemima was a freed slave who was hired by some white guys to be the spokesperson for Aunt Jemima because she had an affable personality. She was likable, and she was a popular spokesperson of the time. I'm sorry, but in the past, black people wore rags on their heads and didn't wear pantsuits. I apologize if that offends you, but that's your problem. But Quaker is owned by Pepsi, and Pepsi owns all this other stuff, and I've sworn them off. I don't like Pepsi. I'm a Coke man, and Coke, as far as I can tell, is pretty on the level. They don't. I mean, I don't know about their business. I'm sure they're corrupt in some ways, but they aren't out here virtue signaling and then putting out these weird commercials. They sell Coke. uh, but Pepsi, owns Quaker, so they support the decision at Quaker, and I can't buy Pepsi products, which sucks because I love A&W root beer. I love Cheetos. I love Taco Bell. I think they own Yum Brands. They own Taco Bell. They own the A&W restaurants. Oh my God. So, oh well. I'm gonna have to vote with my wallet. I'm gonna have to sacrifice for what I believe in. What a concept. We can't decry the left for being entitled crybabies, irrational and emotional, while making horrible decisions ourselves. We can't, again, it's not fight fire with fire. It's like, hey, they canceled somebody, so let's cancel somebody else on their side. No. If I believe the people on the right who are just and acting logically and thinking are right. That's why I'm a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a joiner. I don't believe with the Republican platform 100%, so I can't be a Republican. But I'll vote for one occasionally. My whole thing about the Republicans and Democrats is Democrats are evil and Republicans are useless. But my point is to misappropriate a hashtag from the left. Be better. But I mean, that's a cliche, and cliches are true. You have to be better than your enemy, or else you're the bad guy. I mean, you see this in comic books now, where the good guys are just doing horrible shit, but because they're doing it in the name of good, it's acceptable. You have Superman snapping Zod's neck in Man of Steel, and people saying it's a great Superman movie. No, Superman doesn't kill. That is the antithesis of Superman. He sacrificed his morals and ideals to achieve his goal, and for a Superman story, that's a failure. And if we want to encapsulate all that is right about America on the right and on the conservative side, we cannot sacrifice our morals. We cannot sacrifice our ideals. And so again, back to vote with your wallet. That's what you can do. You can vote in 2020. I'm probably gonna vote for Trump. I didn't in 2016. I couldn't pull that lever for Trump. I voted for Gary Johnson. I guess I can't because he was like a pothead, and I wanted pot to be legal in Maryland. But yeah, so vote with your wallet. If you stop giving them your money, what can they do? If you stop working, if you don't get a job at Walmart, I mean, what can they do? They don't. If they don't have employees, they can't function. If they don't have customers, they can't function, and then they can't take advantage of the consumer the way that they do. And I don't know. I feel like it's just so obvious, but people don't want to do anything. People just want things to be handed to them, and it's time for the silent majority to speak up. We have the power. It's time to make a plan.
So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plant, but we have the power.